The Prairie pothole region is the core of what was once the largest expanse of grassland in the world, which was the Great Plains of North America. You can kind of see that grassland in the background. And these wetlands formed when the glaciers from the last ice age receded 12,000 years ago, and they left behind millions of shallow depressions that are now wetlands. These wetlands are called potholes. This is a prairie wetland system just northeast of Fargo, North Dakota. This is what a pretty typical prairie wetland looks like. Glaciers retreated across the landscape. They can be permanent, semi-permanent, or seasonal. So seasonal wetlands in the prairie pothole region are typically fed by snowmelt and precipitation in the spring, and they dry up throughout the summer. Semi-permanent wetlands have standing water throughout the year, but their water levels can fluctuate drastically as precipitation increases in the spring. And then permanent wetlands have more stable hydrology. Prairie wetlands are considered to be very productive systems in terms of plant productivity, invertebrate diversity, wildlife diversity. Some commonly found wetland plants, submerged plants, in a system like this would include coontail, narrowleaf pondweed such as Fry's pondweed, flatstem pondweed, and then also other species such as bladderwort, and coontail, and Cara. Prairie wetlands provide extremely important habitat for breeding and migrating waterfowl. Here we have some, I don't know if you can see them. There's some ducks out there. Those are ringneck ducks. As you can see around the perimeter, there's often an abundance of emergent vegetation. So here we have a lot of cattails, predominantly cattails in this wetland, which is pretty common. These basins can also have sedges and bulrush around the perimeter. Here's another prairie wetland not too far from the first one. This one has a forested edge on it. We have a couple trumpeter swans in here. This one's really shallow. It has a maximum depth of about 4 feet. But in most areas it's less than 2 feet. You can see vegetation growing up to the surface. In a lot of areas, prairie wetlands tend to have very dense submerged aquatic vegetation because they're so shallow, so the plants have easy access to the light, to the sunlight, and they can grow very well. Here's another wetland about 10 miles west of Fargo. As you can see, this one doesn't have any cattails around the perimeter that I can see. It's pretty much sedges and grass. It's pretty shallow. You can see the vegetation up at the surface. And there's some standing dead woody vegetation, which kind of indicates flooding. This is on a WPA. This is how the majority of prairie wetlands look. They're usually pretty small, usually less than an acre in size. We've had quite a bit of rain lately, so there's a good amount of water in here right now, but I'm pretty sure this is a seasonal wetland. You can tell how shallow it is. To give you an idea of what the landscape surrounding these prairie wetlands typically looks like, you can really kind of see the glacial formations. Kind Kind of those rolling hills. This is on a really nice WPA. Prairie grasses.